Okay, so in this video, I want to look at adding a new student and a set of results for that student. But before we start, I just want to have a look at something I noticed when I played the video back before I uploaded it to YouTube. The last video, I mean. Now, it was this code here that I ran, and I'll run it again for you now, because I noticed when I ran it, I made a slight syntax error, just a typing mistake. And if you look here, if we remind ourselves what the code was supposed to do, it was supposed to add or append the score of 50 to every person in the class. And it started to do that, no problem. But then it added 2 to this one and then didn't add any to this one. And I didn't notice that when I was making the video, but when I ran it through, and rather than making a whole new video, because that was quite a long video, I'm just going to talk about it now and talk about what I did. Okay, so it's this line of code here where I made the typing mistake. And this line of code here, it's supposed to represent just the same as just doing count is equal to count plus 1. And you can write that in short form by typing out count plus equals 1, like that. But when I was typing, I've put count equals plus 1, which led to the mistake that I made. All right, so bear in mind when you do, if you want to write the shorthand form of count equals count plus 1, it's count plus equals 1. Okay, so if I run that now, you can see here, it's added 50 here, and this one ended with 50 anyway, you can see up here, and then it's added that to the end, and then in the last one, it's also added 50 here. Okay, so now we've talked about that, let's get on to the main purpose of this video. So in this video, what I want to do is, like I said before, is look at how we can add a student and a set of results for that student using an array. Okay, sorry, not using an array, using iteration, a loop. So we're going to use a while loop and a for loop for this. All right, now, if you notice at the top here, I've already created a loop and I've made it equal to true. I've got my class results, so that's the 3 students that are already in the class and the names of those 3 students. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to set up the loop and I'm just going to say, while the loop is equal to true, which it is already, do the following. Remember your colon, and then say name is equal to input, and then just the message to say enter the name of the student. So enter the name of the new student. All right, once we've done that, I'm just going to go straight away and I'm going to append it. So pupil names dot append. So pupil names dot append, and then in brackets name, all right, which is this variable here. Okay, so we just appended that. Now I'm going to go into a for loop to allow me to go through the class results list and add something to the end of it. Okay, so I'm going to say for I in range 0. So I'm starting at 0 and I'm going to go all the way up to the length. Remember the key, the function len, to find out the length of something, class results. And then at position 0. Right, close 2 brackets because I've opened 2 brackets, and then don't forget your colon. Then I'm going to say results. So this is the result of the actual student, is equal to int input, because it's an integer, this one, int input, and then just a message to say enter the score of the test. So two brackets. Okay, now next what I'm going to do, and actually I haven't created this yet, now I'm going to add the result of this, the result of or whatever the user puts in here, I'm going to add it to a new list. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create the new list inside of this while loop. So new results. Now the reason why, and I'm going to make this empty, the reason why I'm doing it here is because I'm going to put an option of to add a new student in at the end of this code, and if I make it there, it won't be part of the loop, and when I add the information to the new results, it will keep adding the new students to this new result, and I just want it for one student, so I can then use this to add it to the end of this list here. Okay, so now I'm just going to, whatever this result is, I'm going to append it into the new results. So new results dot append with the results. Okay, now once I've done that, I'm going to come out of the list and then say class results dot, class results dot append with this new results list. Okay, so the whole list. Okay, now I'm going to ask the question, do you want to add any other students? So I'm just going to call this new student and make it equal to input, and then just say you want to add another student, and then close this. I'm going to finish off with a simple if statement to say if the person says no in here, we're going to set the loop to false so that it stops running, and we can just output the class results to make sure we've got it right. Okay, so if new student, not space, is equal to no, then loop equals false. I'm going to go right back to the start, and I'm just going to print out class results. Okay, so let's have a look and read through this just to recap what we've done. So first thing I did was I set a loop to true, which is going to be used to control this while loop here. Then here I've set my class results up in a two-dimensional array or list in Python. You can see the commas in between each section of the list. Then I've got a 1D array or 1D list in Python with the student names. Then I'm going to go into my while loop, and as long as the loop is equal to true, I'm going to create a new set of results, make it empty, and then I'm going to allow the user to input the name of the new student, and I'm going to append pupil names, which is this here, with the name of the new student. Then here I'm going to open a for loop, and I'm going to use I as the index marker in the range of 0 to the length of class results position 0. So that's class, it could be class results at any position. I just want to make sure it's going to allow me to put the same amount of results as all of the other students have got. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Okay, then I'm going to ask the user to input the student score. I'm going to append the student score to the new results. Okay, we could even call that temporary results if we wanted, because we're just temporarily holding them there. Then once I've added all of the 4 results, I'm going to take that whole list and I'm going to append it to the end of this list here. So that will mean that the new student's name is at the end here and their results are at the end, so it will correlate to where they are on the list. Okay. Then finally, I'm going to ask a question, do you want to add another student? If the person says no, the loop will go to false and it will stop, so I can print it out. So one last little thing here, I suppose, that we could do to make it better, use a little bit of string manipulation. And because somebody might end up writing no like a capital or capital N like that, and then this would remain true even if you, the loop would remain true and loop again even if you didn't want to. So we could here change this to new student is equal to new student dot lower. And that will just change. Even if someone writes capital letters here, it will change it to a lowercase. So when it tests the if statement here, it will be correct and it will stop if we want it to stop. Okay, so let's run this and see if it works. Right, so we're going to enter the name of the new student. Let's call him Billy. And then enter his score results, 45, 33, 88. All right. No, and there was 4 tests, wasn't there? So 22. And then it says, do you want to enter another student? For this time, I'm going to say yes. And then he's going to say enter the name of the student. Let's call it Jack. And then 99, 87, 78, 66. Do you want to enter another student? Let's put no. And then you can see here, I'll just make this wider so we can get a better look at it. It's outputted the names, the results of the new list. So if you can see here, the last one, 66, 78, 87, 99, 66, 78, 87, 99, and the one before, 22, 88, 33, 45, 22, 88, 33, 45. Okay, so that is how we could use iteration, or a loop, or 2 loops in this case, one to control the amount of students or what students we want to add, and the for loop to go actually through the list to add the results we want. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to have a look at how we can use 1-dimensional arrays and 2-dimensional arrays together in order to output the student name and the results that they got to go with it. All right, so I'll see you back in that video.